Safety is always the first concern when you're taking a yacht from point A to point B. Our trip takes us from Newport to Sint-Marteen. It's about 1,650 nautical miles, crossing some treacherous water like the Gulf Stream between New York and Bermuda. The weather forecast this time of year is oftentimes very variable and unpredictable. The windows usually only last for 2 or 3 days, and on a passage that takes about 4.5, there is always a high chance that either at the beginning or at the end of the trip there will be some heavy weather. In our case, we left in really light breeze, leaving Narragansett Bay. Beautiful day, left midday in what we hoped would be a comfortable passage, sailing downwind mainly with a northwesterly breeze, but it quickly turned into big seas gusting as high as 35, 36, which made our first day at sea a little bit more difficult on almost everybody.
I started sailing when I was very young. My father's a sailmaker, so I grew up on the water, on boats, around boats, in the boatyard as soon as I could walk. 1996, when I graduated high school, I joined a square rigger in the Caribbean, and that kind of inspired me to continue on, so I chose it as a profession. This year, in 2017, I was telling myself I needed to become more land-based and settle down a bit, and didn't really pull it off. Problem is, once you've lived on a boat and traveled so much, you have a great network of friends which are usually stronger than the ones you have at home. You slowly lose touch with them because they create new lives for themselves, whether they move on to different parts of the country for work, or they start families, or so when you're traveling you open yourself up to meet new people very quickly.
Sailing came to me more or less by accident after having spent 16 years confined in an office working for a corporation making other people rich and not really being happy. When the opportunity came for me to leave that world behind, at first I was lost. I went traveling. I knew I wanted to be moving around and experiencing new adventures, and I did end up in the Caribbean on a friend's catamaran in Sint-Marteen and spend a few weeks on the boat, and having never been in love with the ocean before, I felt an immediate connection. And I dedicated the last 2.5 years of my life in turning that passion into a reality and making it sustainable for myself to be able to live this lifestyle in this yachting world.
Bermuda is a small island located between the U.S. eastern seaboard and Europe and the Caribbean. It's a great stopping point. It's a midway point for the passage south to the Caribbean, which a lot of boats make on a yearly basis in both directions. In a modern day world, it's part of the pilgrimage south.
Stay on the dock of the boat. I know this land thing's new for you.
The history of Bermuda and shipwrecks comes from the large reefs that surround it. So before modern navigation, it was not an easy island to make landfall on because there's a lot of reefs. It's exposed to the ocean on all sides. There's no shelter. It's a very remote place in the Atlantic Ocean. And I think that's what makes it special. It's a little oasis in a large desert of water.
It's always tough to be away from family at any time of the year. I think when you're a sailor and you spend a lot of time away from your true family, it's important to create strong bonds with people around you, and they become your family.
C'est une longue histoire, là, mais pour faire une histoire courte, là, c'est depuis que ma conjointe est décédée, j'ai commencé à faire la voile. Donc, ça fait depuis 2007. Sur les petits bateaux Calgary, laser, puis après ça, les cours de plus gros bateaux pour faire du cruising. T'as pas vraiment, surtout en livraison, on n'a pas, il n'y a aucune porte fermée. La seule porte qui se ferme, c'est la porte des toilettes. T'as plus d'intimité, là. C'est un groupe, un cercle. On était chanceux. On avait un bon sens de l'humour. Mais je peux voir que ça peut aller bien ou pas bien, dépendamment de la chimie des équipiers. C'est quoi? C'est 400 pieds carrés ici? C'est 400 pieds carrés, donc faut que tu t'entendes. C'est un peu sportif. C'est un peu sportif, tant à la barre que en dessous, dans nos quartiers, pour faire toutes les petites choses communes de la vie quotidienne. Manger, dormir, aller à la toilette, fallait être assez en équilibre.
The hardest part about working on boats is that you're constantly moving. And if you can't find a good balance of life where you are on boats, or you have a very busy schedule, you don't have a lot of personal time or space for yourself. You sacrifice a lot to be able to travel and to experience, the wonders of the world on a boat. But that comes with living in a very small bunk. Challenge for the body on a boat is to stay fit, to stay healthy, and to not hurt yourself. For your mind, it's just about creating balance and happiness, and new challenges for yourself, even if they're small, just to keep everything alive and going.
Simpson Bay Bridge. This is sailing yacht Amerigo.
Go ahead, Amerigo. Go ahead. This is Simpson Bay Bridge. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. We have the intention of crossing the bridge inbound at 9:30. White sloop, 56 feet, black mast, black boom.
Life at sea is tough at times. There is the short trips, which are mostly enjoyable and it's very scenic, and then there is life offshore. And life offshore, to some, can seem pretty boring or monotone because all you see is water. But there's beauty in this solitude. There is beauty in the sea. There's something very precious about being out living at sea, and sometimes people forget to enjoy the simple things in life, like just being present, enjoying the water, the silence, and just being there present in the moment. Taking it in, slowing down, disconnecting from the world on land.